Welcome to the bold analysis. President William Ruto is holed up in a crisis meeting with the security and the intelligence advisors amidst the wave of police resignations just days after the deadly protest. And in this podcast, we are going to look at briefly what is in the president's security crisis, why something really needs to be done. But before that, I still want to request you to help support us, support our Embu mission that we're doing here. And we're supporting This gentleman, Alex, was shot kwa mguu and he was stranded in the hospital. Grafting is supposed to be done, and according to him ni kwamba alishutiwa akiwa tu kwa plot, something that was not precedented and was not even part of the protest. He's part of the statistics of those who underwent through that. And apart from Alex, so tomorrow we are going to make sure that we make the payment for him for grafting to be done. Then we have the big, major project we are doing here is to support this mother of three, Faith Wambui. Faith Wambui lives in this structure. When we came, we had to walk through a very bushy place, and this house is in the middle of some bushy space somewhere there. And what we understand is life took a different turn after giving birth to the last born. She got post-birth trauma and depression that changed her life completely. She lost her job because she could not then continue. And the father of the children also disappeared and abandoned her just due to that condition. But as you can see, that is where she lives. Hata hiyo nyumba, ukiangalia ndani, you can see the condition maliomelala hapo na watoto. The mattress imewekwa juu. Analala huku, kuna watoto wanalala hiyo side ingine. Na wanawekwa, hizo mattresses zimewekwa hivyo. And we found her in a very difficult condition. So what we did, we really opted to set up a house to build for her a 2-bedroom permanent house. We, through the area chief, we got wind of where we could get the husband, who showed us a place. Husband ni baba yao watoto. Who is normally don't stay there, someone who disappeared, kusijua kuchuna mira wapi. But we are putting up a house for this lady. I am trying to contact that hata ikiwezekana, if you can be able, ianze kesho mchana. They can work through even part of the night, because my intention is by Sunday evening, I think we should be having a structure, or probably late Monday, so that mama aweze kuingia hapo, kwa sababu ile sehemu wanaishi ni hatari sana. With even this cold, Embu is very cold, na hii baridi, I can tell you that we feel that we really need to rescue Faith. So kindly support us any amount you can. We're doing 100 bob challenge. What nasema kidogo kidogo hujeza kibaba. And I want to say thank you, because since I started, I've already got 47,000, I think with some hundreds, 47,000, and I want to say thank you very much. Our budget deficit is still huge. It was 300,000, but we'll start kesho. Tutaanza na zile venye tunaweza pata, hata kama ni mchanga, hata kama ni bricks, tutaanza kesho afternoon after tumeshamalizana na Alex. Now, President Ruto is facing police resignation, and just a month after Samido refused to stop singing one term and resigned from the police service, Another junior police officer who defiantly rejected or rather opposed Murkomen's statement or rather Murkomen's proposal on shoot to kill Hiran Kimathi was in a controversial manner transferred from Kiumbi to Todonyang police station near Kenya-Ethiopia border. And in a mind-blowing expose, the policeman reveals a sinister motive to take him out.
And this transfer, one person named Deputy OCS Chumbi Police Station, known as Sigei. You can understand he is called Sigei. And the OCPD at the river, a Carrigan too. He was posted here the other day, repressing Madam Modoni. So this transfer came all the way from the higher office, under the instructions of Kipchumba. So who does Kipchumba give instructions? He gives to Ragat. Then from Ragat to County Commander Machakos County. Then from there to... So along this chain, I've discovered it's only the county commander who is not a Carrigan on that channel. From the top to the bottom, they are all Carrigans. I'm not saying, I've said I am all tribes. And this is where I started to smell that something was totally wrong. So after I was issued with the transfer, they realized they have done something wrong. So they begged me to go back to the station. In which I told them, no, I can't go back to the station because I booked a departure and I have signed the marching order. These are the instructions. There is another Kalitro boy here whom we have been serving with, a Carrigan still, who went around saying that huyu mutu tengeni yeye sasa. Natakiwa tumtenge sasa. He is a rebel. I want to speak to you, young boy. Please, you have very many problems. Solve them. Leave Kimathi out of the conversation. So I want to address the following persons. OCPD at the river, DIG KPS, Ragat, and this other person who goes aloud talking like he is a madman, Kipchumba. And I want to tell you this, I've known your agenda. Everything that is praying in the darkness, don't think where you are sitting down and praying. There aren't people who comes out of that meeting and tells me what you're planning. So this was the plan. The plan was, I was supposed to be trailed as I was supposed to report back to Tondonyan. And my praise of assassination was between Odour to my new station. And everything was set. Everything was very set. That I was supposed to be assassinated at that time. And the only way they could have done that, it was only through a transfer that looked like it's a normal transfer, but one transfer, mimi peke yangu, to report to my new station. And when I noticed what is happening, I said it's okay. It's totally fine. But I want to speak to you this morning. Why should you assassinate me? And why should you plan about taking my life because of standing for the truth? Why should you feel so much intimidated by a police constable? I don't have even a rank. I don't even come from a very big family. We are just peasant from a very kind of a humble background. Don't have anybody who is in power, who is mighty there. We don't have godfathers like majority of you have. We are just normal Kenyans who are surviving in the normal society of bad regime, bad governors. Saa hii nimesikia watu wapigwa marisasi ya miguu. No, sometimes I just wonder who advises people in power. There are things even you just like shut up. You don't even talk about them. Just keep quiet, kindly. I know I'm rubbing shoulders with people who think that they have power, but I know people have great power. So Kipchumba, I want to tell you this morning, that position that Kimathi used to hold. Chukua kijana yako peleka Todonyan. Ama uzae afike inji yangu, umpeleke huko Todonyan. And I'm saying this without any fear of anything. Ragat. Chukua kijana yako leo, peleka Kiganjo ama peleka APS ama peleka wapi. After amemaliza, chukua yeye peleka Todonyan. As simple as that. OCPD at the river. Zaa wako. Chukua peleka. Deputy OCS Chumvi. Zaa wako. Chukua peleka Todonyan. End of frustrate yeye huko. Ni watu sijui kama vichwa zenu ni mzuri ama ni mbaya.
And according to him, he's decided not to take that route and has left the service, tendered his resignation. I think that is the right move. Sometimes you cannot put yourself in the line. I think I wish politicians can take that direction, so that when you don't agree with the policy principle, you just leave. That you live with a lot of respect, even though sometimes politicians don't get it right because they only speak after they stop. When politicians speak, that is the time they stop eating. Police insiders have saved him the trap. And from what he's saying, he actually got intel about what was going to happen. Exclusive reports show that there are several police officers, of course, on different demographics, including ethnics, that declined to participate in protest operations, with some even faking excuses of being sick and other reasons of not, so that they will not be allowed, so that they don't, they are not deployed on protest. And the Saba and the J25 protest exposed a series of discontent from the men in uniform, who are really saying that the manner on which deployment on those two protests were done, some are not feeling comfortable. And of course, when the issue of sitting in numbers came, and people came in their numbers to CBD, it exposed an underlying issue, which is now being raised because the police to civilian ratio is very low. And when the turnout is huge, then the possibility of security being, the police being overwhelmed is being felt. And this is one of the concerns. Now, today I was talking to someone who is also raising, and you can tell us that police should not be putting on the combat. It should be left for the military. And so I'm still looking some more into this, but this is one of the aspects that is coming out clearly, that this exit is motivated by several of them who've been found in offense and cannot make it. The second aspect in the president's security diary is the shoot to kill, the controversial shoot to kill versus shoot to injure backlash. Murkomen made this order, shoot to kill. The country really questioned his moral standing as a cabinet secretary on why he made such a reckless order. But after Sabasaba, the president came through and now made it look like it's now better on shoot to injure, especially those who are found destroying people's properties. And if you look at most of those who were shot, they were not shot inside people's shops. And the evidence of someone killed, for example, in Kenyatta, there are 8 children who allegedly shot on very flimsy, on some stray stray bullets, and that then raises the question on whether the shoot to kill or shoot to order, what exactly was its objective. And so it created a backlash. One of the doctors have said that there is an artery that runs all the way from the brain. There is an artery that runs all the way from the brain to the leg, and someone should not make it look like it's not a threat if you are shot in the leg. Someone would want, I think the president wanted it to sound ordinarily, those people to think like it's cool because sasa ameshutu mguu hautakimbia utashikwa. As if the issue is disappearing. As if the issue is disappearing. But in real sense, it's also just a shoot to kill. Remember, shoot to kill did not mean you shoot the head. Shoot is shoot. And today, Nelson Koech actually went on rampage when he actually said it should be shoot to kill.
Na mimi nataka niseme na nishukuru Rais William Samoei Ruto. Wakati jana umesema shoot kuna, na mimi nataka niseme na nishukuru Rais William Samoei Ruto. Wakati jana umesema shoot but do not kill. I want to repeat it here. In fact, shoot and kill. You cannot have someone coming after your life and you do not want to shoot and kill. You cannot have someone who is going to terrorize you and your family, and you are telling me you cannot shoot and kill. You cannot have someone who is coming after your businesses armed and with weapons, and you want to tell me that you cannot use shoot and kill. The Constitution, the Police Act, has given the police the powers to use their arms where they have evaluated the risk of their lives is in danger. And I want to say, these people have been terrorizing people. Anyone who wants to go to a protected area like State House is not an ordinary person. That is a criminal. That is an armed person that must be dealt with equal force. And the only force that applies to such people is to shoot and kill.
Now, this has caused a big backlash, and it's an order that is prone to abuse even by the police. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to look at it when you look at the security crisis at the moment. When you look at the video or the photo of Cleansy Baraza, the lonely policeman in the courtroom who shot Nairobi hawker Boniface Karaoke in Nairobi during the protest, during the J25 protest. And you will understand that the promised immunity, purported immunity that probably was promised, and police officers must learn very serious lessons from this. He was in courtroom alone. Murkomen, who had promised that I will protect you with my tooth and nail and dispatch lawyers to defend you, is no longer there, was no longer there, and is going to spend the rest of his life in prison, rotting in prison, with the family. A police baraza who was fairly still young has now left family in a very, very disappointing position, simply because he just acted on some stray thinking orders. Even as you get orders, you must always make personal judgment. What I'm doing, is it right or wrong? Is this cool? And police officers who believe they have godfathers and godmothers in the system must actually see and learn a lesson from one Cleansy Cleansly Baraza is actually going through. The other third aspect is the looting battalion. It is not a secret that there is a looting battalion that has been planted in the streets, in the protest. As to whether and the state and opposition are apportioning blames on each other, while what remains clearly is it is the state police that are supposed to crush that group. It is not upon the opposition or the civilians to crush the group, even to identify. And this is one of the big things that is happening, because I think for quite so long the state was taking cover by blaming the opposition. But also someone argues that the much of blaming the opposition is reverse psychology, a situation where you've done something, and because you want to look innocent, you must always try to get who has done it. But then someone says that the state does not have the luxury of telling us who has done it, because it is upon them, whether it is them or it is the opposition, it is their responsibility to get this looting battalion. When you listen to what people say, is that those who are looting are not from the local scene, and they are not police officers. They actually look like hired militia. And this is in the president's diary that he must really try to unravel. But what is the security crisis? The security crisis here is, while the president is defending his power, he has lost his temper and information war with the masses. And whatever he says receives a very hostile reception. Now, openly backing of police amidst atrocities actually angers the masses. Yes. You might think you are, backing the police, and you are right in these atrocities. By backing the police is cheering them while they commit these atrocities. It really shows that you are not sensitive to the human life, because that is the other aspect that is really being raised. And it continues to brew anger. The promised immunity from prosecution by the police is far-fetched. It's not there. And now the calls are for the loyalty, that the drop of loyalty. The security sector thrives in some blind loyalty. And that loyalty is going down, and that is why people are opting to live out. The other crisis that he cannot leave is the claim of state machinery fueling the Gikuyu isolation rhetoric amidst the political breakup from the region. I've always been asking those who are pushing this narrative, what exactly is the objective? What exactly do they want to achieve? Thank you.